Alright, I'm just gonna do a little like free flow video today. You can tell I got like my blinds open. I don't even care about lighting today or right now. Today, I don't know. Why does that sound weird to say? Um, like I'm here with you today. Yeah, no, I just don't want to think about it too much. I have too much to do. So I'm just kind of bringing you along. It's like, when you get sick from school and then you're like, cool, I got to be at home. And then your mom's like, yeah, well, I had stuff to do today and you're just going to come along with me. That's what it feels like. You guys are in the back of the car and you're just coming along with me. So I was planning this like video on AI, talking about AI. Yeah, I was planning to talk about AI because everybody talks about it so much. And my whole thing about it is I'm not worried about it. I don't even think that's the right word, worried about it. I just don't care. Everyone cares so much. I forget that I'm getting older and that there's a lot of younger people out there. Like, I still think I'm a kid. I mean, that's why I'm drawing a pumpkin, you know? That's why I do children's books. I don't ever think about how old I am. Like, I just turned 42. This is like right in the way, huh? Oh, whatever. It doesn't matter. Like I'm wearing my tiny shirt today too. It's not even appropriate for my body mass. But I'm just here. No, but what was I saying? Yeah, I forget how old I am. I'm not like old, but I'm just like the kids that are being born today. By the time I'm old, will still be young. Do you know what I mean? Like when I'm in my 80s, the kids will be like still younger than I am right now. So that's crazy to think about. I don't really care about that. I mean, maybe this video will be called "I Don't Care About Dying." I don't know. Yeah, so like everyone always is all tripping out. This is a freeform video. Let's see if I can fix this a little bit. Yeah, I can edit that out, but I think I'm gonna go with it. So when I was a kid, there was this really stupid movie that came out, and it's not stupid because of the content. I like Native American stories. I like Native American history, but it was such a letdown when it came out. Pocahontas. It's so boring. You knew it was boring when like right when it was on VHS, your like teachers like brought it in. They're like, "We're gonna watch this." I'm like, "This movie must suck," because they never let you watch the good things. It was always Cool Runnings, Pocahontas. My PE teacher I must have watched Cool Runnings fucking 100 times. I'm not even kidding. Anytime that shit rained, we were watching Cool Runnings. It's like, oh man, the bobsled team on. You know how many times I've seen Cool Runnings? I've seen Cool Runnings more than like my own son. Why, like John Candy in an Olympic movie with the Jamaican bobsled team? Dude, that movie sucks. Dude, like, so people are like, why don't you like the Beatles? I'm like, because the reason it's not that I hate the Beatles, it's that I had a bunch of hippie teachers. Because when I was a kid, all the teachers were like burnout hippies. So they're like, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna bring the coolness of my generation to these kids, and they're gonna love me. But it doesn't matter what you do. When we're playing the harpsichord, like bring, 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 and what you end up getting is singing "Let It Be," and really hating your life, like hating school, hating that you have to be there. And then when you hear that song being played on the radio or by someone else, it's like fingernails on a chalkboard. So, I don't remember oh yeah, Cool Runnings. You can't put on Cool Runnings. Like nothing's good if you're at school. So if you're a teacher and you really like a piece of art that is like, maybe I won't even call it art. Cool Runnings isn't art. It is torture. If you like something, probably the best thing to do is not shove it down a captive audience's throat. Like, Cool runnings. Anyways, so Pocahontas. Here we go, man. Yeah. Uh, so I wanted to be like a Disney animator. I didn't even know what that was really. I just thought that's all that I thought there was only animators. I didn't think there was anything else. So without knowing anything, I was like, oh, I want to paint like Aladdin and stuff. That was like a dream. And then I used to just try and draw. Like, I would get all the VHS covers, or I even bought like card collections of like Disney films because it gave you like stills of the movie. And then I would. I'm not even in my bubble, huh? See, this is the problem. It's just go to dad to work day. Just go to dad to work. Go to go with dad to work day. This whole thing has to do with AI. It's just I haven't gotten to the point yet. Um. All right. So what's the point? Yeah. So I wanted to be a Disney animator. I was just like, I was like geared up for it, And man, it sucks. I wonder if I can actually do this. Whatever. So Pocahontas comes out, and I'm like, yeah, I don't want to see that. It every like movie reviewer was saying it wasn't very good, so I was like, oh, whatever. So I didn't see it in theaters. I waited for my teachers to ruin it. And back then, we lived in this house. Like, if you turned on the heater, you'd die because you get like CO2 poisoning. Anyways, man, we lived in some shacks, dude, growing up. It also had illegal cable when we moved in. My family didn't care enough about that stuff. To even try to steal that. But it was already wired into the house. So when we plugged our TV into the wall, we had illegal cable. I just remember my dad being like, "What? Like I don't know about this." And this was cool. I actually think cable at that time was cooler than what the internet is today. Like the internet's kind of boring today. It's like you get on and it's like a billion ads and a bunch of half-ass stuff. Like you ever think about that? Like everyone's like, "Oh, the internet is so great." I'm like, "Yeah, right." But before the internet, we had Michael Jackson, we had Elvis, we had Michael Jordan, we had Wayne Gretzky. Um, we I don't know. We had like all the legends back then, and then we got the internet, and we've never found another legend. Like we're not finding any more Michael Jacksons or Elvises. It's like going out into space and going to be able to see every planet, and you realize like nothing is interesting. That's what the internet did, and what we spend our time on the internet is like watching people walk into trees and stuff on Instagram and TikTok. Um, like maybe no one's practicing their moonwalk because they got an iPhone. So, anyways, I'm drawing, painting, whatever while I'm doing this. Part of this is about AI. It's gonna make sense soon. Don't worry. Don't worry. Okay, so we had illegal cable. It was awesome. My dad didn't think it was awesome. My dad didn't like that kind of stuff. Like he didn't like meaning he didn't like the idea that we were illegally or we illegally had it, even though we didn't set it up. We had no control over it just by plugging our TV in the wall. I think he even tried getting it taken away. He called the landlord. Anyways, so the point of this story is that we had illegal cable. I had like the Disney Channel. I was able to watch like all the Indiana Jones films, a bunch of stuff. I saw some really cool movies like that I would have never seen without it. But and like, dude, back then, like the Disney Channel per month was like freaking 35, $40 a month. It was crazy. Even people that had cable, like actually paid for it, they did not add that damn channel. We don't care if you buy it. Like, we just want you to see the price and then feel sad about yourself. So I came home one day and they used to have this like really cool show that I just loved. Dude, it's like 9 in the morning. I'm drinking this water. It has no caffeine in it. It does nothing but hydrate me as I freaking fall asleep. So yeah, there's a point here. I should have zoomed. Should have zoomed instead. Should I zoom? Whatever. This is just the way it's gonna be. I'm not very pretty today. So I came. The show was that it was you. You got to see artists behind the scenes, like Disney artists, right? And they were like drawing Lion King or whatever, and you'd actually get to see them draw it. And I would sit there and draw with them, and I was just like, whoa, man, it's like what I want to do one day. I thought that it'd just be like heaven, you know, being able to just be an artist there. And then when Pocahontas came out, to add an insult to injury about a movie that wasn't very good. I mean, I hadn't seen it yet, but now I know it wasn't very good. Even, with the song, Wind, the Wind song, with Vanessa Williams, I think her name was. Dude, she was like one of the biggest stars of the time, and now no one's ever heard of her. Like, she was so huge. Vanessa Williams, like, she was like a model and a singer. Like, dude, she was just like, she was huge in that era. So yeah, when she did that Disney song, it was like a riot. So I get home and they're gonna do the behind the scenes thing, and I'm like, all right, and it's like Pocahontas, and I'm like, whatever. At least I got to see them draw it. And then they were working on computers, and I was like, huh, that's weird. And literally, they had a kid, literally, and they kind of like a pen like this, and kind of like what I'm working on now, and they had the whole Pocahontas character, cell or lined out. So it's like the line work was done, and then they gave the kid and the pen, and then they told them to tap wherever they wanted inside the character, and then so they painted their hair just by tapping the spaces, and it's like blink, 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 it filled the spaces. And then they showed them to tap something else, and it put the lighting on the hair, and I was like, oh, it like destroyed me when I saw this. I was like, okay. It was like, why am I practicing anymore if this is the new way they're gonna do things? I'm like, now everybody can do it, so why am I practicing? It's not like I don't want everybody I don't want everybody to be able to do this, but it's like, why am I working at it? So that happened to me in fourth grade, and I stopped practicing. Like, I stopped my dream died, and I was just like, well, the dream is dead. It was like La Miserable. The dream is dead. Doesn't she say that at some point? I wish, I wish, I wish, I wish, I wish. I don't know the songs. I like that one. The one with the guy that owns the hotel. That one's cool. I like musicals, man. I just can't sing. That's one of the things. See, that's one of the things I wish I could sing. I'd be singing all the time. If you can sing, you should be singing all the time. Okay, so I stopped practicing to be a Disney animator. I mean, that I was in fourth grade. Like, people might not believe this, but that's 100% true. To me, it was just game over. There was no future for me or anyone. They can hire 4-year-olds now to do Pocahontas. And this stayed with me for a long time, because when I started getting in, when I got into picture books, because picture books was the other thing. So I would practice Disney stuff, and then when I was at school, outside of watching Cool Runnings and Pocahontas over and over and over, I had to go to daycare. I remember Mrs. Watanabe, Mrs. Fly, Mrs. Navarro. Those ladies were badass, man. They liked to give me a stack of paper, the biggest pencil you've ever seen in your life. Like, it's probably like the thickness of this, how it gets thicker. It's probably the thickest point is how thick the pencils were, because this was like government pencils. You know what I mean? They were like made. I don't know who makes government school supplies, but these things were. They weren't messing around, dude. So I had no accuracy with my drawing. It was like you draw a line and half your paper's gone. But nevertheless, so it's like what I would do is I'd go into the room, and they had a stack of books, or they had picture books there. And so I had Jumanji, Where the Wild Things Are. I had I don't think Polar Express, maybe. We had some dinosaur books. Like, dude, like I remember Brian Collinsworth. He's now an artist for the people who do The Last of Us and Uncharted. So he from that daycare, two of us became professional artists. So I used to just draw like picture book stuff. But anyways, so by the time I got to be like 19, and I was like, well, I'm gonna do picture books. It's what I like, the most. Even over Disney, I liked it more because in Disney, like animated characters are kind of like they're kind of limited in my opinion. It's one of the reasons if you look at my art, like it has a certain vibe to it, which is this kind of like you know uh, classic kind of style, whatever. So another reason I really like picture books because I felt like it was protected from the digital world. So when I started, I was really a big digital bigot, man. Like I really did not. If someone did digital, I was like, I just wasn't interested in what they did. I started doing digital really just to save costs. I mean, if you look at what I'm doing, I use zero masking for this. I don't do this thing, like, and then like paint in the thing. I don't do that. It's not that when people do that, there's anything wrong with that, but I'm not surprised that when AI is doing paintings, it looks just like people who use that masking a lot, or they use like popular brushes a lot to do like like a leaf or something. You've seen that style where it's like the leaf is just a texture instead of like an actual leaf. It's like a stem, and it's like a stem. Here, I'll do that again. And then they just take the brush and go over it, and it just speckles the thing. It's kind of an algorithm that way it's speckling it, and then everyone uses that brush. And then when I see like AI doing art, I'm like, oh, there's a speckled brush, or I can see that they're doing it like they masked it or whatever. Or how AI is thinking or whatever. When I started doing digital work, like I just said, like I maintained my traditional spirit with it. I just don't like a lot of the tools. It's part of it's being lazy. The other part of it is that a lot of what I do is accidental. You know what I mean? I like these vines right here. I painted them with a line thinner than this. Like I went in there and I filled it all in like that. You know, because I'm just that way. People say, oh, you can take a brush and just fill it, and I could use that tool and just select it and do it. I'm like, no, because there's little things in it that I am not good at, and it shows up. And when you look at the picture, you can see everywhere is my intent, where my intentions were, and where I missed. People don't understand that imperfection is just as important as perfection. Like if you're using all these tools to make your art like perfect, like what does that even mean? Like perfect? It's super dumb. I like, in like Disney cartoons, like when what drawer the character's gonna open because the one that's gonna move is a little lighter because they have to animate that because basically it's like a painting like this and then they draw characters over it. But when they have to have a moving part that's also animated, that cell color can't be as rich or as rendered as a painting because it has to move. So it's like if I try to get this to move, all the lighting effects that have to happen, if I wanted this like pumpkin to roll, would require that probably spent a year on animating the pumpkin rolling for like on paper at least. So the point is that they had to make do, right? And when you watch that as a kid, it became a part of it. It wasn't oh my gosh, when are they going to be able to get beyond this? It's like, no, it was a part of the art. And I feel the same about what I do. But anyway, so I'm doing digital art. I'm doing picture books. Things are going well, AI comes out and everyone's like freaking out. And I'm like, I remember this. This is what happened to me in fourth grade. I'm just in fourth grade again. And this is another thing where it's going to tell me that, it's going to take my jobs. If you actually watch the Pixar movie, it's like Inside Pixar, I think, or Behind Pixar. I don't know. It's one of those. I think it's on Disney or Prime. I forget. but it shows the beginning of Disney, and so I mean the beginning of Pixar. And side note, watch Waking Sleeping Beauty. That's one of the best documentaries I've ever seen on the '90s, '80s, '90s era of uh, of Disney. It's so good. It's one of my favorite documentaries, especially for artists. Anyways, so yeah, I'm watching like Inside Pixar, and they talk about when they're at Disney in the '80s. You know, back when like Tim Burton was there, or whatever. What ended up happening is they got booted out, the Pixar guys, because they were doing like computer animation stuff, and all the older animators were like freaked out. They're like, dude, this is gonna put me out of a job. And so they pushed them out. And now look at it. It's like we got Pixar, yeah, but it's not what people thought. It's not like the computers were gonna come in and paint for everybody. It became just a tool. But at the time, everyone was convinced looking at it that game over. The other thing about it all is that growing up with video games, the thing that I don't like about tech is they're always going to update it. They're always going to update it. It's always going to be like AI 2.0, AI 9.0. You know, you're going to keep getting updates, which means slight shifts in the quality, and it's going to happen, you know, slowly over time. But by the time you're on version 10 of AI, all the crappy AI stuff that people made 10 years before will be obviously AI. It's going to, because the programming keeps getting better. So go watch the first Toy Story. It's so bad looking. When we first saw it, we were like, whoa, I've never seen anything like this. But now you look at it and it's like, yeah, that's like a program anybody can download right now and make stuff with. What they did with like Toy Story 1. It's not that good. This is the problem with updating graphics. So in video games, every video game system that comes out, everyone says they can't get any better than this. They always say that. Just if you played like PlayStation 2, if you were a person like that, just think about how you were so impressed with how realistic the lighting was. I mean, you're like, this is it. Like, this is as far as I can go. Now, where we're at, people are saying the same thing. And now when you look back on PS2 or PS1 or Xbox 360, it all looks so bad. It's like, it's a joke, right? Because our eyes have gotten used to the newest stuff. The same thing with AI. It's always, people are thinking it's going to keep getting better and better and better until it like matches us. But that's not what's going to happen. It's going to keep editing itself. And they're going to keep updating it so it has better this and better that. And it's basically make all old forms of the people using it obsolete because it's going to look corny. So, but what doesn't change is go watch Lion King, Aladdin, go watch Pinocchio. That stuff's timeless. Because they don't update the art. They don't say, oh, we need to update Pinocchio a billion times. And this is something that like people need to understand. Like they're all freaking out about AI. What they should be more concerned with is not having a job as an artist, but a career. Well, a lot of people don't know what a career is. Go read Jane Austen. Go read Tolkien. Another book I read recently. What is it? I don't know. Read Tolkien. Read Austen. Go read Northanger Abbey. Catherine goes to Bath to find a suitor. And it goes horribly wrong when she is confuses her romantic interest with a gothic novel she's interested in. And she's convinced that the father has killed the mother. And she's going to like destroy all of her chances on meeting this great guy. And she returns home really thinking that she's destroyed her chances because she totally embarrassed herself. Jane Austen says, it was the end of Catherine's career. In The Hobbit, when Bilbo gets the ring from my precious, who's that guy? The little dweeb? See, I've read the book. Whatever. I just don't remember character names because it's like I've read it. I didn't watch the movie. I mean, I watched the movie. I just didn't watch it a trillion times. Whatever his name is, you guys know. My precious. So Bilbo, for the first time, gets the ring and he puts it in his pocket. And Tolkien says, this is the new step in Bilbo's career. So career means adventure. People are confused. They keep using the word career and job in the same instance. So career, the word career comes from the word careen or caravan, chariot. That's another root of the word. To careen, it's like to break the rules, to go outside the lines. When someone has a career, think of it like this: you have to first be willing to never make money at it. It has to be something that you will do for free for the rest of your life, no matter what. And then by doing that thing, you end up making money at it. That's a career. A job is something that you'd only do if you get paid to do it. Okay? So that's a big distinction. Artists that have jobs, not careers. And what's an artist's job? It's like I work at Naughty Dog. Oh, now I'm going to use an example of the guys. I work for this game company and I do all the like clouds in the background. And every day I get there, I clock in, I go to my cubicle, I pull up all my files, and I'm going to like start rendering clouds for this game. And I'll be in a credit that goes by this quick. You're a no-name person who's doing basically grunt work as an artist with no name recognition. So when AI comes along like it's doing right now, I mean, you could look up like how many people are losing their jobs to AI in gaming. It's because their name is not tied to their work. Johnny Cash, someone just took one of his songs, or not even one of his songs. They took Taylor Swift's song. They had Johnny Cash. They had his voice sing a Taylor Swift song. It sounded just like Johnny Cash. I mean, it's unreal. And the thing that's interesting is that nobody went and bought it, downloaded it, added it to their Johnny Cash collection because people are invested in Johnny Cash just as much as they're invested in his art. So if your personality, who you are, is not tied to your work, you'll be replaced by AI. Here's the other thing, okay? So I've given you 2 points. Let me review. One, AI is always going to be updating. Therefore, it's always going to look worse and worse in the past. While it's looking better and better as we go forward, it's going to be looking worse and worse as we go back. So I'm not worried about it in that sense. 2 is it will only destroy people that have jobs. 3 was another point I forgot as I was explaining 1 and 2. So, but it was a good one. Oh, here's a third. I remembered it. If AI takes away an illustrator's work as a picture book, let's say me. If AI can take away my work and publishers will just use AI, I can do the same thing to a publisher. Okay, so if a publisher can so easily just replace me with AI, well, why can't I just replace them with AI? Let's just go through the evolution. It's like Eric didn't get the job to be an illustrator for this book for, let's say, HarperCollins, because they're going to use AI. They put the book out. It sells well. Eric's depressed at home, not knowing what he's going to do. Eric gets on AI and just does the same thing. Goes bing, bing, bing. Within a day, he's got a book. But not only that, Eric has all these ideas that he hasn't told the publishers yet. Okay. Now he can really make story ideas because he could just generate all the ideas he didn't have time to paint. Now I'm a competitor with the publisher. But now let's go further. Now my neighbor who doesn't know how to paint or do anything, she's using AI. She has now 10 books done in a day. And she has a printer. The printers have gotten cheaper. She's printing out books. She could do all this stuff. Everybody on my street has a stack of 10 books that AI has written for them. Well, now what happens? All books are devalued. There is no value in it anymore. It will just destroy books, right? And then what will be there when the destruction of the book world is there'll be someone sitting there making a book by hand, and people will go, "Oh yeah, I want that." So all these people freaking out, like, "Oh my gosh, the computers!" I'm like, they're always overhyped, dude. My iPhone still doesn't work. Just because a computer can spit something out doesn't mean that like people. So what people don't understand, the people think if I can draw really well, then I'd have good ideas. I'm like, that's not true. The best guitar players in the world don't have good songs. There are jazz guitar players. How often do you listen to jazz? Do you think jazz musicians are writing the hits? No, but they're most technically sound. Here's another point. This is actually the biggest point I had. I just forgot it. It's something I thought about a long time ago. Quality of your art, that doesn't mean crap. Go to any music school and look at who's the best violinist, the best bass player, the best drummer. They're not playing music you like because they don't know. They're so deep into their craft that they don't even hear trends anymore. So they're playing like doo, 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 doo. And then you hear the horn come in. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. This is what it sounds like. It sucks. They're not doing Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift can't even play the guitar. You ever seen her hold it? She's like, yeah, it's, you could tell she's got like literally like out of all that time she has like the comfort of a guitar of like someone who's taken it very seriously for about a year and then just kicked her freaking guitar teacher to the curb and was like, I'm gonna be famous. She probably didn't have a year of it. You can just tell by how she holds it. She's not comfortable with it. The point being is that quality skill level has nothing to do with quality of your art. It's doesn't matter. What matters is characters. Do you know what I mean? I don't care. J.K. Rowling's not the best writer, but she has Harry Potter. You know, Barry's not the best writer. He has a Peter Pan. Tolkien's not a good writer at all. Dude, go read all of the literary criticism of Tolkien from when the books came out. Go read Harold Bloom on Tolkien. What does he say? Sucks. This guy sucks as a writer. And he's right. Man, when it comes to writing, the story, the world building is phenomenal. It's top tier. And I don't think anybody would take that away from him. But what he has is Bilbo Baggins. He's got Gandalf. So it doesn't matter. All of those qualities fall to the wayside because he has a character. So everyone keeps thinking like, oh, now it's over because AI can replicate, the finest form of art. And it's like, that doesn't matter. It's not going to give you Harry Potter. That's going to require that the person that control of the computer can see that what's going on. They're going to be able to see the characters come together. So as you learn art, as you read more, you start to get rid of all your bad ideas. You start forming your good ideas. When someone when someone who's never painted or doesn't take it seriously starts doing it, all their ideas are bad because they haven't worked through all their bad ideas. They haven't got all their bad ideas out. So imagine someone who's never painted something serious or never written something serious here's a good example. Think of someone you know who doesn't read books. Now give them one book and tell them to tell you how good is that book. Say, what's your review of the book? They won't be able to tell you. There's no reference to it. It would take them reading 100 to 200 books to start saying, this one's really good, not that one. And even then, it'll take years of reading to really have an understanding of good prose. Just some person who's going to come off the street and think they can click a button and say, oh, I made this, as if, that's why so much crappy AI is coming through, because you're getting a lot of people who can't paint and haven't gone through it, starting to decide, that this will be a thing, but they don't understand that their own eyes that haven't been trained, people say this is stupid, but as you get better at art, your eyes and your brain level up. When I heard that, I did not believe it, but until I started painting all the time, and now looking back at the art I was doing in the beginning, I realized, holy crap, how did I not see how bad that was? It's because my eyes and my brain were not at the level they're at now. So now I can see a problem. I can understand rendering better, all this kind of stuff. Your eyes go faster than your brain. So your eyes will start seeing the problem first before your brain can understand the problem. So I can start looking at this painting and I can say, oh, there's something wrong, but I can't figure out what it is. And so I end up getting this creative block because I can see that my work needs help, but my brain can't figure it out. It takes a little bit for your brain to catch up, but I keep practicing. Okay. So artists have heard this. If you're not an artist, you might not have heard this, the brain and eye distinctions. But the point being is that someone who's off the street and not done this stuff, their brain and eyes are at level 1. So they can't make a clear judgment on what AI is producing, if it's quality, or if the character means anything. If they're not reading, how can they know that the character is worth existing? They just won't know. So you still need someone that is well-read, that has painted hundreds of paintings. The amount of paintings I've done just to become a painter or a professional artist, I've probably done 500 paintings in like like 4 years, 5 years, maybe. And these are full paintings. These are like 40, 50 hour long paintings. I'm not talking about like I did a real quick sketch. I mean, I spent 2 weeks on the painting or a week, and that's the way it goes, you know. Now this is a ramble. This is a ramble video, and I kind of thought about making it all precise, like oh yeah, like AI. Here's my points, you know. But my whole argument against it is that this whole like way we are, this whole thing about like being like free and stuff is always better. Anyways, I didn't finish this painting while I was talking. My paintings don't work that way. But it's a pumpkin, and it's for something, but I can't talk about it. And you can't even see the full page. I did it that way. I'll be talking about it soon, though. All right. Well, you guys do good, and just watch out for those AIs. You're going places, kid. All right.